Hi everybody, this is TheHande, and welcome to a new Let's Play series. This one's been a long time in the making, and sorry I'm dragging out the introduction a little bit because I'm listening to the music right now and it's honestly pretty damn good. Yes, this is Metroid Prime 3, Corruption. And boom goes the dynamite. Yes, there it is, the intro screen. Alright. Also, there's going to be a big... Okay, so there's going to be a big edit right here at the beginning. And also, yes, sorry, I'm not actually recording this live. Yeah, there's actually two edits here because I delete... oh no, I didn't delete this out. So, I had attempted to record previously and I had an issue. And that's why I'm kind of doing it in this kind of backwards way. So this is kind of like the way... This is pre-recorded footage of me playing this on the Wii. And me talking over it after the fact. Basically, I'm doing this the same way we were doing the Gabriel Knight 3 Let's Play with Retro Kaiser many moons ago. And the reason was that I was having some real issues just recording this, or recording and the gameplay and the commentary at the same time, which is rarely, in fact, never has been an issue. I hope to make, well, actually, I think I know how to alleviate that for the next upcoming part, but yeah, that kind of sucks, honestly. Also, you're going to see me fiddle around with the controls a little bit, or having some issue with the controls a little bit. That's not the game's fault. That was the fault of my setup because I actually played this through the capture window, looking through the capture window, and on my computer rather than doing it in front of a television, and that was mainly the issue. Actually, it was more of an issue in this first episode. In the next episode, which will also be pre-recorded, it was luckily not as much of an issue. And there's Dark Samus, our villain of the game, sort of. Oh yes, and the reason, why am I doing a Let's Play of Metroid Prime 3? Well, simply put, this is my favorite Wii game. This is, in my view, objectively, the best game for the Wii. And, yeah. I was having some weird issues, yeah. Well, okay, whenever you have issues with the Wii sensor bar, it's usually that you're too close to it, and that was probably the case for me when I was recording this. So, yes, and so this in my view is objectively the best game for the Wii. I think it's the best game, not just from a gameplay standpoint, but from the fact that it is an actual game, and you know. And I love this introduction, but I knew this was going to be. This is probably going to be. I'm sorry to say to you for anybody watching, this is probably going to be the most boring episode to watch because there's so much story stuff that happens and there's not a lot of gameplay stuff yet. Yeah, you can see there I was having some weird issues, and also because I've had to fiddle with this screen format a little bit. Even though I put it on the widescreen, my capture device, which I'm beginning to suspect is just kind of shit, it couldn't format the screen properly. So you're luckily seeing the footage, the image in widescreen the way it was intended. But for some reason, when I was video capturing it, my capture device refused to show it in widescreen. It was forcibly putting it in 4.3, so it was a little bit squashed, but not in a consistent way. Yeah, this is also what I was having a lot of problems. Like usually when you pull up that switch, it usually is like like that and it's done. But now for some reason this time it didn't work. Yeah, but this is yeah. So, and I know Metroid Prime as a series is kind of a bone of contention for some Metroid fans. Some like it, some don't. And honestly, I'm gonna have to qualify my opinions, everything regarding this game, with the with the disclaimer that I am honestly just not a big fan of the old school Metroids, the 2D Metroids. Really, never really liked the NES one. Super Metroid is the kind of game that once every couple of years I play it for like half an hour and then I remember I don't like it and then I quit. I like the music from it. Don't get me wrong. And I would say Super Metroid the kind of game is honestly the kind of game that I enjoy watching other people play more than I enjoy playing it myself. I honestly just do not like playing it at all. This is weird. This is the whole thing. This is my favorite thing about the Metroid universe, though, is that everything is triggered by shooting. The doors open by shooting. You go onto the space station. The first thing that you know, it's basically Space America, if you will. There's fucking doors that you need to shoot missiles at, which makes absolutely no fucking sense whatsoever. You know what? I take it back. I think the screen might be a little too stretched out because that A icon looked a little. It didn't look circular. It didn't look quite circular enough. It actually looked a bit ovaloid, if that's a word. Okay, here's where you're gonna see my first big edit, because it had been such a long while, and because I was struggling a little bit with the controls, I honestly kind of forgot how to activate this first puzzle because I didn't go talk to the scientist immediately. So I was just kind of running around. Ironically, I didn't run to go talk to the scientists because I was actually trying to kind of speed through this opening part because I didn't really. Okay, and yeah, you can tell I'm fiddling with the buttons now and trying to remember what they all do. They're not difficult to remember. Like luckily, like Metroid Prime is one of those games that, you know, even if you haven't played it for a very long time, there you saw the edit. Even if you haven't played it for the very long time, once you get back in the fray, oh god, that's one sexy outfit, I gotta tell you. I'm making fun of these guys, but yeah, I genuinely do like this game a lot. And the thing about Metroid Prime, honestly, so I also like Metroid Prime 1. Never completed Metroid Prime 2, and I don't remember what it is specifically about it, but every single time I try to play Metroid Prime 2, I never get very far. So there's something about it, but honestly, I can't remember right off the top of my head what it is about Metroid Prime 2 that I dislike so much that I just never ever managed to seem to complete it. But yeah, I think with Metroid Prime 1, what this first-person view angle fixes is the main issue that I don't like about OG Metroid, is that when you're exploring things, you really want to have every possible view angle of everything. That always makes it much easier when you have to go poking around looking for stuff. And that's just so much harder to do on a 2D axis, in my opinion. Especially because, you know, the original Metroids are so goddamn cryptic anyway, the first one in particular. But even Super Metroid, even though it has the map, it's still really difficult. So that's why I like these games. I like Metroid Prime 1 and 3 a lot more. And also, controversial opinion time, because people already probably know what the hell I'm gonna talk about. I actually did like Metroid Other M. Now, I did not like Metroid Other M, not to say that I didn't think there were some things wrong with it. Gameplay-wise, it's absolutely nowhere near as good as this one. But I actually like the story. And I like the fact that they actually gave Samus a personality. And I get it that people didn't like the personality that they gave Samus, but, you know, it is what it is. Like I said, I'm just not, you know, old school Metroid, it's just not for me, so whenever they do something different with it, I'm honestly completely fine with it. And that's the thing, I've been waiting on Metroid Prime 4 for a long time now. They said that they were going to make it for the Switch, and in 2019 they actually had to restart the work for it. Here's another one where I was having a lot of issues during this first session. Luckily I managed to hit like the magic spot when I was recording the second episode where I didn't have these issues anymore. Like pulling that, because you're gonna see me pull and turn those levers a few more times later on. And it's a completely pointless thing, but I honestly do kind of like that, because it does demonstrate something that I think this game did well, that I think a lot of other Wii games didn't do so well, because there's lots of Wii games that I think use the motion controls well, but then I think the game around them wasn't like maybe substantial enough, substantial enough. And then some Wii games did have a substantial game around them, like Super Mario Galaxy, but then they didn't use the Wii mode very well. I loved both of the Super Mario Galaxies. Super Mario Galaxy 2 actually is I actually preferred that one over the first one. for a number of reasons. And for me, Twilight Princess is a Wii game. I did not play it on the GameCube. Wind Waker is my GameCube Zelda game.
Aren't you Samus Aran? It's an honor to meet you.
We found a fanboy. I hear you can twist into a ball. That's fucking hot. I also like this beginning just because there are characters for you to actually talk to. Like, this is something that we just don't see in Metroid. And I get it, like, the whole thing with Metroid, and this game does do it too, is the isolation that you feel. And again, that's the thing I like about Metroid Prime 1 and this, is that I do like the isolation, I like the atmosphere, the music and everything, and the original games had that too. But in the old games, I just have no idea what the hell's going on. I have just no idea, you know, if I have to go shooting at walls, like, that's where I start to lose my patience a little bit with the game. Like, it feels like, seriously, you couldn't, like, actually, you know, you couldn't actually, like, you know, build a real world. You know, you had to do this bullshit. And we're saving the game. You're gonna be seeing me every single time, without fail, when it's a save room, I'm gonna go in it. I'm sorry, I'm saying that, I'm apologizing ahead of time, because I know some people are going to probably find that very infuriating. And yeah, so oh yes, and also Metroid Other M's story is really, really good, even compared to this game's story, which I will say the story is maybe like this game's biggest flaw. Like, I like this intro, I like what it builds up to, but then what the actual story is that, you know, there's the, well, we're gonna be actually we're gonna have the Colonel, or whatever the hell his name is, explain it to us in a minute. But I just like the general flow of this. It is a very, you know, don't get me wrong, I do think this is maybe the most linear of these big Metroid games. But then again, my least favorite part of the first Metroid Prime, I like the first Metroid Prime, but my least favorite part of it is, like, just before the final boss fight, the game forces you to go backtracking. Gandrain as the shapeshifter.
Looks like everyone's here now. Before I begin the briefing, let me introduce 242, the flagship's Aurora unit.
This is something I really like, the Aurora units. It's basically, this is kind of like explaining after the fact of why did the space pirates have a gigantic brain as their kind of leader, or like master computer. And it turns out that, oh yeah, in the Metroid universe they just have these organic computer brains. And this is not the only one, we see multiples of these. And I like this because, you know, I like Captain N as well, and Mother Brain was a big part of that. Mother Brain actually is a big part of Other M as well, so, you know, there's that as well.
Unit 242 was the first AU to receive.
And if somebody is about to write in the comments something about, like, oh, well, you know, in the lore of the Japanese lore of these games, blah blah blah, something, I don't give a shit. People always make such a big deal about those lore things that they change in the localization. I honestly don't give a shit. But I like the fact that this one actually has a story. That's the problem I have with the old Metroids, is they don't really. They kind of just do the bare minimum of a story, and then they just kind of have the game be, well, just poke around. This is the thing, that's the same reason I don't really like Metroidvanias.
Then it's a shame you weren't.
I love the sass the General has there.
To the ship's Aurora unit, 313.
I think I think Valhalla is the ghost ship that you have to go to. Oh yeah, you do have to go to, yeah. But okay, okay. That is, I will admit, this game's like biggest flaw is you generally don't have to do a lot of backtracking, but on the Valhalla, you have to go and reactivate the Aurora unit. And if you, AUs, that's what they call the Aurora units.
We need you to deliver the vaccine to each of the AUs in the system. We'd also like you to investigate the pirates' activity in the area.
Yeah, the Aurora units, there was something that I really like about this game. Oh, yeah, I mean, the one thing that is that you find those energy cells throughout the game. And the energy cell, and the thing is, like, there's more energy cells in the game that you need, but then you have to go use those energy cells on the Valhalla to access different parts of the ship. And as you do, you can unfortunately end up in a dead end if you don't know where you're going. So potentially then you will have to do a little bit of backtracking if you go into the wrong parts of the ship. And I'm gonna already like preface this by saying that we might end up doing that later in the Let's Play, because I mean I have a kind of a vague memory of the layout of the Valhalla, but it might be that that was the only part of the game that held me up when I played this for the first time. But generally speaking, that's one of the things I really liked about this game, was the fact that it didn't hold me up so much.
Till we get the fleet in formation.
Ooh, that always sounds really bad. I don't know, they must have recorded that on like a different day, or maybe they condensed the, oh, what am I trying to say? Maybe they've, oh, god damn it, I can't talk. Compressed, yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Maybe they compressed that audio file of the general. It sounds weird. Like, I understand that it is in a different room, but it sounds like so much different and so much lower quality. Yeah, and also, I apologize for my terrible gameplay in this first part. Like, you know, it took me way longer than it should have. That's the reason I took the easier difficulty level playing this. Yeah, also, yes, so the scan thingy. I don't remember if the scan thingy actually benefits you. You get these little points for scanning stuff in the game. I think it's just a little extra thing that you can do if you're a collectathon nut and you want to, like, 100% the game. Like, then you have to go and scan everything. The scanning is useful. It's like, it will tell you, you know, stuff like the weaknesses of all the villains and things. Oh god, I hate those button prompts, but yeah. I think they do go away eventually, but especially during these early parts, you see them a lot. And also, I am playing this with the lower difficulty level, so, you know, that might be another reason why they kind of keep cropping up a lot. The reason I chose the lower difficulty level is that I've honestly not played this game for a very long time, and one of the reasons is because I've been saving it up, and maybe that wasn't a good idea. Maybe I should have, you know, practiced a little bit more. The good thing is, like, most of the enemies don't move very quickly. Like, I was actually having, well, actually, yes, I was having a little bit of trouble in the second episode with the jetpack guys. And I think, like, I'm not much of an FPS guy, really. I would say, though, this is probably my favorite FPS game overall. Even though this one does have one issue, which is, like, you don't really have a lot of weapons. So it's your beam, and then you can use rockets every once in a while. And also, you know, when you're a ball, you can drop bombs. But that's it. That's about it. Not a lot of weapons variety. But in comparison, well, Metroid Prime 1 did have a little bit more because you had the different beams. But one of the things that always, like, brings my piss to a boil about Metroid Prime 1 is the factory area, because they put in these combinations of different doors where you have to keep switching the weapons. And I played Metroid Prime 1 on GameCube a long time ago, but I finished it. I completed it on the Wii when they released the Metroid Prime Trilogy collection for the Wii. And I do like this control scheme. Like, this is the number one thing that I really love. This was what made these games so much fun. Although with Metroid Prime 1, I think it's kind of obvious that was a very early, you know, that it's an early GameCube game. It's an early attempt of them trying to bring Metroid Prime to first person. And because of that, some of the level designs maybe are a bit rudimentary. Yeah, there's an energy cell. So we get yeah. So they tease and they kind of teach you about this. And also, yeah, I will say, maybe I should have had a little practice run, because you're going to see me, like, derping around this room for a little bit when those little guys show up. Yeah, I think I had a problem, is that my sight was going, like, too high. which is weird because it really shouldn't be an issue because I have the. So yeah, I think I'm gonna like turn into a ball and I'm gonna like try to like. Yeah, because I think it's scripted that at some point, yeah, one of these. Yeah, I was trying to get in there, but you can't get in there yet. I think you have to blow up that big guy, and then you can get in there. So yeah, sorry. What I'm doing here is completely pointless. Like I'm pretty sure now. Yeah, you're just supposed to blow up the big guy, and then another big guy shows up there. And then down we go, into the tunnels. Vents or whatever. It's never really explained. Like, I kind of like Metroid because you know I'm a big sci-fi fan, generally speaking. So sci-fi stuff is usually my bag, and Metroid and Star Fox are kind of like the two Nintendo sci-fi series. But Star Fox has always been very tongue-in-cheek. Yeah, that's another one I've mentioned before that I really kind of want to do, Star Fox Adventures at some point. But I also thought of Star Fox as being a bit tongue-in-cheek, and Metroid is kind of like the actually kind of very serious, no-nonsense sci-fi series. But then when you really stop to think about the Metroid universe, you know, you start to kind of realize like a lot of stuff in it just does not make any sense. I gotta say, I really love the Metroid. I think it's the second world with the. It's not called that, but it is basically like Cloud City of Metroid, except it's completely abandoned. That's where the Metroids come in, and I will say this game is excellent with its atmosphere, and especially the tension when the Metroids show up. Like, I had never made any serious progress in any Metroid game up to this point. Like, seriously, it was OG Metroid, Super Metroid, and neither one on the systems, by the way. Always on an emulator. And I'd play like, 10 minutes of the first Metroid Prime, and then I jumped straight into this. And the reason I jumped straight into this because it came out at a time when I was really kind of, there were no other really big games coming out for the Wii that I was really excited for. It was mostly like I was doing downloadables and stuff. And that's the thing, like I've always loved, the Wii is actually one of my favorite consoles, and don't get me wrong. But there was definitely, people talk about like the shovelware stuff, and honestly in Europe that wasn't much of an issue. Like I think the shovelware problem was really an American thing, because they didn't really release any of those. The problem with the Wii in Europe was really that games took forever to just come out. Like we would have these long periods, and that's not just the Wii, by the way. That's every Nintendo console's been like that. That the release cycle, the release pace for games is honestly, Nintendo's always been really weird about that in Europe. So there weren't really any big games, part of the reason probably was that so many like big games had already come out. I forget the exact year when this came out, but I think Galaxy had already come out. Twilight Princess was one of the first games that I got for the system. And I think Donkey Kong Country Returns, that was a later. This was like a mid Wii era game, I think. I might be getting that wrong, but I seem to think that was the reason I got, interested. I saw the trailer. I actually downloaded it because that's the way you could do it. I downloaded the trailer, and I actually got really excited about this, and I thought, what the hell? Let's give it a try. And I absolutely fell in love with this game. This was one of my favorite games for the Wii, for sure. I sank a lot of time into this. And then that's the reason I got the Metroid. That's the reason why I got Other M. That's the reason I got the Metroid Prime Trilogy Collection. And I've also played one of the GBA games. I forget which one is it. It's Zero Mission? Maybe. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But the same problem, I ran into the same problem with that as I did with Super Metroid. I just could not really get into it, and And Metroid's not unique in that regard. I've never been a big fan of the 2D Zeldas either. I'm Ocarina of Time. I'm an Ocarina of Time man, and I have the Let's Play to show it. Yeah, this is the thing exactly what I was talking about. Like this is what kind of fucking universe do you live in that you have to shoot fucking energy bolts at everything to unlock them? And I keep ignoring that space pirate over there. He just keeps taking pot shots at me, and I'm just not. I have zero fucks to give. All right, but now we're about to get one of the dumbest enemy types, which is this fucking shield thingy. So one of them's always gonna drop their shield, and that's the one you're gonna shoot at. Oh man, I had 69 health. Nice. But yeah, the atmosphere is really great. So, like I said, the story writing of this is probably the biggest weakness. Is that at the start, especially you're gonna see in the second episode, we go and we get helped out by the mercenary guys that we saw at the beginning, and they're gonna send us all off on the mission to recover the Aurora units. And then one by one, all of our friends will get corrupted. That's where the subtitle comes from, corruption. And we basically have to just kill them all. And that's something that I felt like, yeah, that was a bit of a bullshit move. Like, you know, they could have done a little bit more on that. Or at least, like, I would have loved for there to have been, like, a plot, like an element here where you could somehow uncorrupt them. That would have been, like, an alternate story path that you could have maybe taken. But I guess that wasn't just a concern for Retro Studios. And I guess you could say that it does give a very the little jog the Samus does. That always looks so like, oh well, I guess he's dead. Can't do anything about that. Yeah, but also in this game, like, I gotta just say, like, Samus just doesn't seem to give too many fucks. Like, no... Like, don't get me wrong, you know, cool heroes are cool and everything, but, you know, I kind of prefer my main characters to have a personality, so, you know, Clint Eastwood's not cool if everybody's Clint Eastwood. If that makes any sense. Yeah, sorry, I derped around on this boss fight. This boss fight is so easy. I've honestly, I've beaten this without locking onto him at all, like, once. Again, I should have probably done the practice run, because he's completely open for, like, 90% of it. Like, the only time you can't do damage to him is, I think, immediately after you've blown up those orbs. Until the top comes off. Like, this is the only part where he's, like, invulnerable. Yeah, sorry. So this is what I was talking about. Like, I don't know why my setup was so bad on this. Like, that's something that I have to address when I record episode 3. By the way, that slushy guy, the guy with the slushy voice, that reminds me because I've actually been a voice in a Metroid cartoon, Shadow Wii, long time ago. God, I forget what the cartoon's called. Maybe I'll link it to. I think it's on YouTube, so maybe I'll link to it. But yeah, I've done a voice. I was one of the mercenaries. Oh wait, what's the name? No, that wasn't the name of the second. I thought the second game was called Mercenaries, but Metroid Prime. All right, and now the top's off. So sexy. No, but now you can just. Now you can just do damage to him, and I do not know. I'm sorry. I'm derping around. This is horrible gameplay. Yeah, now he's dead. This is like a. It's kind of like the boss of this. Well, it's not really the final boss of the opening act because the opening act is still gonna keep going. It's gonna keep going until the next episode. I like these, though. I really, really like these. Very, very cinematic games they had for the Wii. Nintendo did, like, a good job on these. Boom. There we go. Alrighty. And, there's still a couple of minutes left, but I think... Oh yeah, I think I ended it on the cockpit. But so that wraps it up for this first episode. Thank you for watching. I'm TheHande, and see you on the next one. Bye-bye.